Turn now to another win in court for Sean Diddy Combs. A federal judge dismissing a sexual assault lawsuit against the hip-hop mogul, citing the plaintiff's failure to file a complaint under her real name. Combs has denied all wrongdoing.
And joining us now is ABC Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky and ABC News contributor and attorney Brian Buckmire. Gentlemen, good to see you both. So Aaron, we'll start with you. Tell us exactly how this case got dismissed.
Well, it's as simple as that. The judge said that the presumption is when you file a civil lawsuit against somebody, the defendant has a right to know who his accuser is. So at some point, she was not going to be allowed to proceed anonymously. The only thing we knew about her in this case is a New York woman who says she was sexually assaulted and violently hit by Sean Combs sometime around 1995 at a party for a Biggie Smalls video. And the judge told her at some point you're going to have to say who you are. She refused to do it by the deadline the judge set, and so the judge dismissed the case.
Okay, so Brian, we see Jane Doe cases from time to time. That's not completely unusual. What was the issue here?
So yeah, we see Jane Does, or on the alternative, we see John Does as well. And you're allowed to start a case as anonymous, as Aaron pointed out. But at some point in time, the defense has the right to know who is making these allegations. And you have to balance the rights of the defendant, who does have rights, as well as the rights of the person making the claim. And so, in looking as to whether or not someone should continue as a Jane Doe or John Doe, they look to see whether or not the person's name is already in the public, whether or not they'll face any kind of psychological or physical harm or any kind of damage if their name is out there. And at some point in time, you can stay as a Jane Doe, but because those factors weren't properly articulated, I think in this case, the plaintiff couldn't continue with that anonymous title. And they do understand that harassment, sexual assault, rape has embedded within it the ability to have kind of reputational harm, but that's not enough. They have to go beyond just the allegations and try to prove what harm is there.
And Brian, Diddy's team released the following statement here. For months, we have seen case after case filed by individuals hiding behind anonymity, pushed forward by attorneys, more focused on media headlines than legal merit. The other claims, like the one dismissed today, also will not hold up in a court of law. So what does this mean for the other lawsuits that Diddy is facing right now?
So I think Diddy's attorneys are taking a bit of a victory lap because, yes, a case was dismissed. And there are a number, I think Aaron had pointed out behind the scenes, that there are about 20 lawsuits with the Jane Doe anonymous title to it. This isn't a dismissal based on the facts of the case. This is a dismissal because the judge put a deadline there and said if you do not release your name in one way, shape, or form, then the case will be dismissed. But we don't know how the other Jane Does are going to react. They may be of the mindset of, I want to release my name, or I will release my name. And if that happens, then the case will be decided based on its merit and its fact, not based on a ruling by the judge. And so could we see more cases being dismissed? Absolutely. Could we see some of these cases going forward all the way to trial or some sort of decision? Absolutely. Only time will tell.
Aaron, there are a lot of other cases. There are a lot of other charges still for Diddy here. He's still in a Manhattan jail. What's next for him?
He goes on trial May 5th with jury selection. 300 prospective jurors are going to be summoned to the courthouse per day until they can whittle it down to those that will actually hear the evidence. Opening statements are set to begin on May 12th.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. We appreciate it, Aaron and Brian.